Because you can't lead without followers?
Exactly. You have to have followers, right? And that's it seems so obvious, but in some ways it's kind of revolutionary to the students, right? Oh yeah, I need to have people who are actually following me, okay? So that's the first thing, you need to have a constituency, right? If you don't have a constituency, you're not a leader. You might be a manager, right? You might be very competent. You might be all sorts of very wonderful things, but you're not a leader, okay? Unless you have a constituency. So you start with your constituency, right? Now that constituency is going to have a set of values, right? And that set of values can be translated into a set of goals that it wants to achieve. All right? And so what leaders do in the context of organizing is they help the constituency identify what its resources are and then transform those resources into the goals that they want to achieve. Right? That's fundamentally what leadership is about transforming these resources into the goals that you want to achieve. All right? And so there are three main processes through which this process of translating resources into goals happens. Right? The first is building relationships. All right? And through these relationships, we begin to create the community, right, and develop that collective context that we need to get to achieve those processes of transformation. Second thing is leaders go through a process of interpretation, right? They interpret what we see in the world around us for the constituency, right? And what that process of interpretation does is it acts as a source of motivation, and it also helps people develop strategy, right? And so what I mean by that is, by interpreting the world around me, right, I can either think of myself as a person who has the agency and the power to make a difference in the world around me, or I can think of it as, or I can interpret the world in such a way that I have no power, right? And so there are lots of different ways in which you can think about stories as being a way to motivate people, right? But then the second piece of that is that how we interpret the world determines what kind of strategy